Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the story of a new band that's making waves, and their sound is all about this incredible connection between two legendary port cities, Swansea and Liverpool.
And yeah, that incredible response, it's for a band called Balsamo Collins Riley. They've got a new single that is just blowing up on the charts all over the UK, and we're going to get into exactly how they pulled it off. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the hit single itself. Then, we'll dive into how the band got together, which is a pretty wild story. After that, we'll explore their signature sound, how they actually write music together, and finally, what's next for them. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the song that is really getting everybody talking and putting this band squarely on the map.
So this track, Three Ring Circus, has absolutely struck a chord. It's not just climbing the charts, you know? It's getting love from critics and listeners alike, mostly because it has this amazing throwback vibe to those classic, harmony-drenched sounds from the 70s American West Coast.
And, according to the songwriter Andy Collins, a huge part of why it works is just how relevant it feels. The name itself, Three Ring Circus, kind of taps into that feeling that the world is a little chaotic right now, right? It just makes the song feel super current.
But here's where the story gets really interesting, how the band actually formed. It is not at all what you'd expect for a group that sounds so tight and connected. 200 kilometers, just think about that. That's the distance that was separating the band members when they first started writing, all the way from Swansea to Liverpool. I mean, they weren't huddled in some garage, they were literally cities apart. So their whole method was born out of necessity, really. They formed right in the middle of lockdown and used that remote collaboration as a creative superpower. They wrote and built whole songs, piece by piece, from a distance, only getting together in a studio way later to put on those finishing touches.
But that distance, that gap between Swansea and Liverpool, it wasn't a handicap at all. No way. In fact, it turned out to be the secret ingredient to their completely unique sound, a sound that's got the history of these two cities baked right into it. Which of course brings us to the big question, the core of what makes them tick. What is this Swansea-Liverpool connection that everyone talks about with their music?
Well, it really boils down to a shared identity. You've got two working-class port cities, both with these super strong Celtic roots, and both with these legendary, vibrant music cultures that have been producing amazing artists for decades.
And you can literally hear these two cities in the music. From Swansea, you get this beautiful folk influence. From West Wales. And then Liverpool brings in that famous, sharp-witted lyrical style. The tongue-in-cheek lines and clever double meanings. It's an amazing mix. And get this, it's not the first time. The legendary band Badfinger also had those same Swansea-Liverpool roots. So there's a real musical history here.
So, okay, they've got this incredible musical recipe. But how do three different people actually make it all work without stepping on each other's toes? Well, let's take a look at their creative process.
For Andy Collins, this new dynamic is a total game changer. See, in his last band, The Stories, there were 4 songwriters, and things could get bogged down pretty easily. It was just hard to get a majority vote on an idea. But with 3 people, it's a whole different story. The ideas just flow.
And that's the key, right there. Their 3-person setup works like a perfect democracy. They just seem to be on the same page, which lets them cut right to the good stuff, focus on the music, and get things done incredibly fast.
So, with a hit song making its way up the charts, and a creative process that's just firing on all cylinders, you gotta ask, what's next? Well, the band is definitely looking to the future.
Their game plan is pretty simple, but it's smart. They want to ride the wave of Three Ring Circus, get another single ready to go pretty quickly, and then hit the road for more radio interviews and, of course, live shows. They're just going to see where the journey takes them.
At the end of the day, it's all about building on this amazing start. They want to show people what they're really all about, give audiences a much fuller picture of their sound, and hopefully get a whole new wave of fans to jump on board.
Which leaves us with one final big question. Can this incredible mix, this sound that was literally born from the souls of 2 different cities, come together to create one massive, lasting future in music? Only time will tell, but it's going to be fun to watch.